Hello and welcome back to this edition of Daily Actives brought to you by Bruteleg Macaron and Dustin. We are looking at AMD, which was up 3.48% today. Even though it's still just above 110 and not above 120, I don't feel great about the price, I'll be honest. Now, the reason why is because if we look at the few days that we've had so far that we've entered August, we've had a day of extreme highs where on the very first day we saw it was up 2.8%. We had then a humongous drop. We were down 7% yesterday. And today we were up a modest 3.48% to reclaim a little bit of the drop. Now, if you're looking at the way that the chart is down below, you can see that AMD has essentially, I don't want to say they've filled the gap completely, but they've essentially chopped back around this gap. What I think is probably building either a nice base or doing a turnover of shares. Now, I'll be waiting to see a few different signals. Now, number one, I do like to see big volume here. We did have over 100 million shares traded, 170 million shares traded just yesterday on that big drop. So that tells you that there's a whole new class of shareholder who are in AMD right now. These may be bulls, these may be bears. All I know is that a lot of people got out and a lot of people bought those shares because shares don't just get sold, they have to be bought, which means that now you are looking at a different, like a level of where people feel comfortable with where their cost base is inside of AMD. You can see though, being on the rolling 5-day, we're only up 1.85%. We are on the 5-day or on the 15-day and the 1 month negative, which isn't great to see. On the short-term signals, we do have go short, an intermediate and longer term go short. We are going to flip to bullish tomorrow in short term, bearish on the intermediate term, and bullish still in the longer term, which is always good to see. You can see the rolling sentiment. One thing that's very interesting is that we do have a falling bear that's showing up. I know that means nothing to you, but really this is a representation of the bullish and bearishness when you look at how price action is moving kind of aggregated over a few days. Obviously, you can tell you have a 10-day bullishness, 23-day, 10-day average, 5-day average, 2-day average. The ultra fast is going to be based off of the 2-day average, and it looks like we are kind of basing. And what I mean basing is it looks like we have set a floor of bullishness, and probably that low is going to be 107. 108. I mean, I would be very comfortable buying a lot of AMD at these prices just because of my personal belief that there's going to be at least a hype train that's going to be behind it, as well as actual products and software. Now, when we look at the volume, it is unfortunate to see that that big day yesterday was the largest volume day in the entire 9 months of AMD. Not positive as a signal, but again, that definitely speaks to the fact that there's a new class of shareholder. We can see that the volatility has really fallen. The volatility is about to break out. Most likely, was it higher today? It was not higher today. What I do like to see, though, is that since the volatility is about to break out, the correlation is also positive and breaking out as well. If we get a big move where essentially you get a rising, and it could be negative or it could just be positive and stay positive. If we get a rising correlation while the volatility is breaking out here, this is going to be very similar to what we saw in March of 2023, which no surprise here, this is March of 2023. This is the period of time where the volatility and the correlation synced up really, really well. So I like what I see here, as well as I do like the fact that the coiling of the volatility has essentially made it so the trade range has gotten really, really tight here, and we just bounced almost directly off of the bottom of the range. We could go very easily all the way up to the top here at 120.36. I like that as a person who's buying AMD and owning it. Now we look at the ultra fast sentiment here. I do again like the fact that we're seeing that the green bars have now broken back above this moving line, which is the 15-day average of bullishness. And you can tell this isn't super indicative necessarily because this is really averaged out, but it is more indicative of when you're going to get a move. You're going to want to see it move off of a bottom here sometime around like 39 or high 30s, low 40s. And that's essentially what we've gotten to here. We didn't get really low enough, to be honest. We should have gotten down to like the low 40s, like 42, 41, 40. But when you think about the type of bullishness that exists in AMD, it's going to be tough to knock down that kind of a bull. So when we think about where this chart could go, I definitely think that 120 is in play at the top of the range. And then once we get some volatility expansion here, that range is actually going to widen out as we get a big kind of breakout in volatility. We don't know if it's going to be a small hill or a large hill of volatility. We just know that we're going to get some more of it. So the range is definitely going to break out as well. You can already see the very top of this. You maybe can't see it, but it's already starting to roll up a little bit while you're starting to see the bottom roll down. That is an indication that volatility is just on its way to expanding a little bit, and the volatility range is definitely going to show it. The ultra fast sentiment looks fantastic, just like I mentioned before. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you long or are you short? Do you like it? Do you love it? Is this even a good review? And get 25 stocks to your inbox on Sundays for free. Sign up for the New High newsletter. I'll talk to you soon.